What this is here, this particular putting green, is if you look at it close, you can see the ground kind of moving a little bit. That's because all the nematodes under there. There's between 200 to 1,000 sting nematodes per 100 cc's of soil in this putting green. It's got a lot of nematodes. It doesn't look as bad as some you might see. Again, this green here, there's not a bunch of golfers on it every day. It's not under a lot of stress. If this was on a golf course, most golf courses, this green would be 2/3 of it, just bare dirt right now. You look around, you can see some areas where the grass is thinning, but it's not, it looks pretty good right now, but that's going to change to move into summer as well. So what we have out here, we've actually got 4 trials out here. We've put treatments on 2 of them this week. We'll be putting treatments on the other 2 next week, okay? So you're not going to see anything showing up right now because, again, we just put out these treatments yesterday and the day before. However, one good thing is we didn't have any phytotoxicity. That's a good thing, right? So, we have untreated control plots in here, and we also have Nemacure treated plots, and we have the experimental nematicides we're working with. In this particular trial, this is a nematicide that is right now, a label has been submitted to EPA. It hasn't been approved yet. This is the first field trial with this particular nematicide. It's been worked with overseas. This is they just started doing field trials with it in the U.S., and this is the first field trial with it on turf grass. Matter of the first turf grass trial at all with this particular product. We're hoping that we'll get good benefit from it as far as managing nematodes on turf grasses. This next one over here is we'll be working with experimental nematicide. This is one that already has EPA registration on a different use, but we'll be looking to see can we control nematodes on turf grasses, established turf grasses with it. Down at the far end down there, we've got a 3rd trial, which we'll be working with some essential oils, some plant type extracts. This is a little bit softer chemistry. We've got good, it's kind of interesting with the company, they gave us several of these things to work with, and they had the one, okay, this is going to be the one that's really going to work good. And of course, when we did the trials in the greenhouse, this one here's the one that worked good, the one they thought was going to work didn't work. And so, so we've got both of those out here just to kind of confirm what we saw in the greenhouse, but it looked really good in the greenhouse, but of course, it's going to have to see how it's going to pan out here. In here we got the gamut from traditional pesticides to softer chemicals. We're also working with a company that's been in the biotech side of things. You may have heard about nematodes sometimes when you hear these the real geeky scientists talk about genome mapping and all this kind of weird stuff. They've mapped the genome of these nematodes, right? And so, but when they did that, they will find out which genes cause parasitism, so that because there's a lot of nematodes out there that don't damage plants, only certain ones do. So they found those genes, that are these parasitism genes in these plants, and now they're able to target nematicides that specifically knock out that one gene. And so very target specific, it has really minimal non-target effects, shouldn't even affect other nematodes other than plant parasitic nematodes. Now we have been working with a company, we've been screening dozens of things coming out of their testing program. And we came down to one that worked really well, again, in the greenhouse. So we just put that out yesterday, and so it's out here as well. And that one's kind of scattered out in plots through the 3 trials, but we're hopeful for that one as well. So looking at it all, okay, we're hitting, again, breeding, we're working on biocontrol, and the gamut of pesticides, from softer pesticides to traditional hardcore pesticides. Some of these would be useful for both golf and lawn and athletic field. Some of them are probably just going to be on golf stuff if they get registered. So with that, see, I had to pull a couple plugs out. I just wanted to show you guys. This is what we talked about. There's a lot of nematodes in here. If you look at this, there's thatch, and then there's a little bit of dirt, not much roots on there, right? And what happens with this grass is, this top, there's only probably just a little bit of dirt adhered to these roots. But because this grass doesn't have roots going down deep, it's not able to take water out of that soil profile. So you've only got about a 1/2 inch of soil you're able to actually get water from. And today we're talking about a lot with water issues. Water's become a big issue. Water's limited. We've got water quality issues. And we're having to use a lot less water. And as we're using less water, this drought, this nematode-affected grass is much more prone to drought stress. So it's going to be even more important for us to be able to control these nematodes moving into the future than what it has been in the past, because water is so limiting. I know, Todd, you're on that whole thing. You're telling me about how bad these issues are. And you guys that work with golf courses know this, that these nematode-stressed grasses are much more susceptible to damage. This here was from a spot where the grass wasn't quite as bad. And you see it's got a few more roots on it, but if you look at these, if you guys want to come, you can actually hold some of these, but some of these roots you see on the ends that are just all stubbed up. And that is typical sting nematode damage. These nematodes feed on these root tips, and the roots just stop growing. And the grass is never able to develop a root system. Okay, so these roots here now are stubbed off, and then they're going to start declining, and we're going to get as bad as the other one I showed you just a few minutes ago.